Hey everybody, welcome in, welcome to Darvanalee Design Studio. Today we are working on the Birdsville Cushion. Trying to get my camera in the right angle. I think that's okay there. Everybody can see what's going on. So we are here to do some more stitching on the Birdsville Cushion. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. I have a hell of a long way to go, to say the least. So I thought I would come and join you for a nice cup of coffee early on Saturday morning here. So we'll be, nice cup of coffee, do a little bit of stitching, spend about an hour together, prattle on about some stuff and all the things. So yeah. All right, let's have a closer look. If you're new here, you probably haven't seen it before. So let me just move this pattern out of the way. I've got a little bit of a different setup today, so hopefully it's pretty clear with the lighting and everything today. It's overcast too, which is surprising because last week it was a little bit overcast and I couldn't get the lighting right. So it's looking good. All right, which way am I going? This way. So I'm going to be working on this little guy here today, getting him stitched down. This is the last of the big stuff that I need to do. So I'm going to give that a go, get that all down and ready to go. And so hopefully next time you see this, I will be up to doing all the fancy work. So this is some of the stuff that we've got going on. So we've got a lot of French knots. We've got some fly stitch. This is where I'm going to challenge my brain this morning. So I've got some fly stitch. I've got long and short stitch and just different ways of using that. And then we have colonial knots or French knots, whichever you want to use. I mean, they're much for muchness. I know that they're different, but, in something like this, it doesn't really matter. I tend to do French knots. So I have got a lot, like I've started doing some on this one here. It's not completely finished yet, but you can see here there's the short stitches and then there's the long stitches, and that's just alternated. But around, you'll have to excuse me, it is 7:30 in the morning. I had a pretty late night last night. And then you can see on the leaves we've got some fly stitch happening. Now, when I first started this, I was following the instructions and I thought I read somewhere that I needed to do this in hand, these little leaves and everything in hand. Yeah, that's not easy when you got little chubsters like mine. I'm so antiquated doing it. So from there, I went, you know what, I'm going to cushion on the wall hanging. I'm actually turning this into family are too rough and ready to to basically have anything to do with this cushion. So I started doing the fly stitch in hand, and then I went to putting all the leaves down. So I've added a few extras in because I'll show you on the panel. This looks really busy on the thing. Oh, you can see these red dots. That's actually the fabric, so it makes it look a little bit more fuller than what it actually is. So when I did mine and did it the same way, mine looked really open. You've seen this, like you can go back and I might end up actually putting this into its own playlist, and then you can see the process that I've been doing. I've been working on this for a while. I've had a little bit of a hiatus from crafting and stuff like that, but I've got this out and I've started doing it. So so basically,
pushing both hands upward targets your right.
Oops, sorry about that. I hit my phone. Oops. Anyway, I don't even know what that was. Oh, it was a YouTube short that I must have accidentally bumped before I went and had a shower. Sorry about that. So anyway, these dots make it look a lot fuller, and I wasn't really happy with how mine. So I added a few extra leaves in just to make it look a little bit, more like a tree than like a sparse tree. So let me just get rid of my phone. I was just moving it out of the way. So here's the top. It's sort of hard to show you. So this is the top. It's pretty close to the top. I will probably add, I'm going to look for some autumnal fabric that maybe have some leaves or something on it, or I may find some eucalyptus or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to end up making it into a wall hanging, and I'm actually considering framing this. So stretching it over canvas and framing it. So you can see I've got all of the bits and pieces on. We've got the birds as well. We've got more flowers in. But as I said, I added more leaves in. So let's bring the picture up again and you can see. So there's only on this particular branch here, there's only a couple of leaves, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. I've put a hell of a lot more in, but I really like it. I think it just fills up the tree a little bit better. I mean, it's going to look amazing once it's done. The first thing I laid down was the tree, and then I started adding the flowers and stuff on it. So you can see we've got the bird there, got a couple of birds, got a little blue bird up here. These all need to have fancy work on them as well. We've got a little orange one up in the corner and whatnot. So this has been a bit of a project. I also have another project called Around the Garden by the same designer, Wendy Williams. I'm not affiliated with the designer or anything like that, but yeah, that is the pattern. That is the website where you can go. It is all the W's Flying Fish Kits, and you can go and check out what Wendy Williams has on offer. She does beautiful, whimsical sort of stuff, and that's right up my alley. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's what it looks like all over. So yeah, so and this is down the bottom, so the bottom tree. We've got some flowers and everything like that. But there is a line of stitching and stuff that goes right across here. So I want to get all of this stitched down first, and then I'm going to come back to this last because this is going to take a while. But I was thinking about it last night. I've actually drawn in the line, which is really, really faint on here. And this has got backstitch all the way across to create the line. So I'm actually thinking that I might end up doing that, putting the backstitch across just to know where that line is. So that's why I needed to get this guy, make sure that I through the tree, and then it just goes up and across the whole piece. And then it's got all these tiny, 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 tiny little pieces of felt that I need to put on. So yeah, and this is all wool felt for those that are wondering. So yeah, so today we're going to be stitching this little guy down. So I've got to get some floss and stuff out. I've got my little kit. There is, I believe there's an episode of Slow Stitching where I made this. So you've got it as well. It's a little kit that I keep with my hand sewing, and it's got a zipper part where you can put in your glue and all that sort of stuff. You've got a little place up here where you can add some wonder or safety pins or anything that you might use, and then you've got a couple of these little things to put your, like a needle book and stuff, so you can see. And I remembered my needles today, so that's a bonus. Last week I didn't. I forgot them. So I have my coffee as well. Let me just get this up and sorted, and I'll just move my coffee out of the way. So let me know in the comments what you're working on or what you've been doing. I'm just going to match some floss to this. I did not clean up after last time. I just popped it all in. And yeah. So for those that are wondering, this is going to be, I'll do it in inches and in centimeters. This is going to be 26 inches wide, which is 66 centimeters wide. And it is, let me just turn it. I think it is square, but, you know, my dodgy cutting and all. No, it's square. Look at that. So yeah, so that is 26 inches by 26 inches, and what did I say was in centimeters? Let me try that again. 64 centimeters. Sorry, 66 centimeters. I can't even read this morning. Oh my god, what is going on? That's what you get when you stay up late, hanging out with your best me online and having a few beverages, because that's what happens on Dusty Book Sniffers yesterday. Last night. All right, so I need dark blue, some green, some forest green. I've just been matching colors to whatever it is, so they're pretty close. And we need a royalish light blue. So I'm reckoning those colours are looking pretty good. What do you reckon? They match all right, eh? All right, let's have a look and see who's in the comments. Welcome on in, everybody. I will be showing the comments on the stage because it'll be a lot easier for me to see them. So we're going to make them a bit bigger, and we're going to make them tall or wide. Nope, regular. Regular it is. Oh, no, I can't even actually see them. All right, let's maybe take them off. All right. Oh, we'll leave them on. There we go. Good morning, Gail. Welcome on in. Welcome in, May, is it? Or May? March? May? I don't know because I've just got your channel name there. I don't know your actual name. If you would like me to know your name, let me know in the comments. Good morning and welcome in from Melbourne. It's hopefully it's a sunny day for you. It's muggy here. It's 22 degrees already. And it's overcast, but it's still early. The sky may clear. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Nice to see you in your creative element. Thank you very much. Good morning, Chrissy. Welcome on in. Happy Saturday. Mr. 22 moved out last weekend, so today I'm getting my sewing room back. Yeah. Sad that Mr. 22 moved out, but yeah, sewing room, bring it on. Congratulations to Mr. 22 for moving out and starting his adult life. And yeah, you getting your sewing room back. That's awesome. Gail says it's looking fantastic. I think it'll look. I'll look for a larger piece of fabric to put mine on with polka dots, like the cover photo. Yeah, you can get this. This is actually. I've actually seen this in linen with different colored dots on it. So yeah, just have a look. You probably find some at Spotlight actually. Because I used the kit that came with it. So yeah. And as I was saying, I've got another wool piece that the lovely person on the screen right now, Gail, purchased for me for when Savannah went to university 3 years ago. That was a bigger project than I thought. And then I lost my crafty mojo. I've done a little bit of that. I'm doing the tree section of that as well. I'm up to putting the houses down on that. But I figured that I need to finish this first before I pull that out. And if you think this is big, holy sheesh, that one is ginormous. I'm like, yeah, no worries. I can do it in 3 months. I don't know who that person was because that was a lie. Like, that was an absolute lie. So I resided to the fact that no, that's not going to happen. But that is going to be a piece that is going on its own wall. So it's, I think, what did I measure it at, Gail? Can you remember? I think it's like 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters. So that's I think that is 150 centimeters. Oh, I can't do the equation right now. My brain is just not functioning. It is way too early to be doing that sort of conversion math. Let me see if I can figure it out real quick. So I think it is. I think it's about 60 inches if memory serves me. So around that mark, I think it is square. That's huge, absolutely massive. And that, so yeah, but yeah, if you don't want to put as much stuff on it as I did, it looked too sparse. I put exactly what was on it, and it just didn't float my boat at all. So that's why I put extra leaves in, and it's only fly stitch that I'm doing on it, so it's not going to take me long to do. Hello, Sean. How are you? Long time no see, dude. How's it going over in your neck of the woods? Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate that. I haven't been on YouTube for months, dude. I haven't been on YouTube. Only over on my book channel, not on the crafting space. And that, so yeah. Susan's also here as well. Hello, Susan. Shannon, welcome on in. What are you reading today, Shannon? Let us know in the comments. Or are you on something today? I'm watching before I start my quilt. I'm not sure of the size, but it's big. Yeah, it is massive. But I think it's actually bigger than that. So thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. For those that don't know, the guy who's is Sean, a expat from Australia, now living in the US. So yeah, I've been on Sean's channel before. So yeah, So thank you for that equation. Working that out for me, Sean. I appreciate it. So basically, it's a little bit bigger than that. So I think it's about six. It's bloody huge, is all I know. It's got its own box, as this one does as well. So yeah, give or take a few. Yeah. I'm doing okay. I was wondering what you had been up to, and here you are. Yeah, you know, what's the saying? Think of the devil or speak of the devil, and the devil will appear. Here I am. Not really a devil, maybe slightly. I'm doing uni work, so not reading right now. I'm also motivating myself to start a diamond painting tonight. Nice. I'm going to do a little bit of diamond painting a bit later, I think. Not too sure whether I'm going to do any today. So yeah. I'm saying always converting from metric to from imperial is the word I'm looking for, to metric. I do that in one transaction because everything, like just about everything here, is in like patterns and all that sort of stuff are in inches because they're written mostly by Americans these days. And so I have to convert all the time. And even when I'm doing the quilting service and everything, I have to do that. Like in one transaction, I work in both metric and because that I cut in meterage, but I've got to work out the square foot in the inches and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, but it's 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning. Whew, yeah. Pity that I don't work for the lottery, people. Yeah, true that. You would have won this morning. All right, so we're going. As I said, I'm going to do some stitching, getting this down. I've got this little side table just off to the side to me that I built, which is I'm going to get another one for in this room because this is perfect for when I'm. I don't have the computer off to the left of me. I've got it to the right of me, so I can just glance over. It's not taking up any space, so I've got the extra space on the desk. And so I got this little table and it's fabulous. So I got it from Amazon months and months ago. The only thing I haven't done is set up the camera so it doesn't wobble. So there will be a little bit of wobbling when I touch the table. So you can see there the camera wobbles a bit. And that is because I've got it connected to the table. So that is why it wobbles a bit. So I do apologize for that, but I do have some shelves to put up, and then I'll be able to connect the camera to the shelf, which will eliminate the wobble. All right. So just in case anybody's just popped in, we're working on the Birdsville Cushion by Wendy Williams. You can get a pattern over at flyingfishkits.com. I am not affiliated with them at all. If you do leave a review, you could possibly give me a shout out. That would be fantastic. If you purchase something from them, they do, from memory, they have PDF patterns and stuff like that, so you could get this. If you do order their paper patterns, it's really easy to follow along. It's got all the instructions for your stitches and everything like that. It's got all your bits and pieces that you need to trace out and all the things, and it also tells you all of the stitches, where to put them and whatnot. So you can see I've got a fair bit to do on the birds and stuff like that. So we should be after this week, we should be up to the embroidery side of it. So this has got many more episodes to go. The peacock would look great with sparkly threads on the feathers. I think I may do that when I get to that stage. Well, I was thinking that too. I've got some silver, like Cosmo threads. I've got some silver and gold, and I've even got some blues and stuff, I think, in some threads. And what I could, make him a little bit sparkly because, girl needs sparkle in her life, you know how it is, right? All right, let me grab my needle and thread, my threader, my scissors. There's my little threader, a little bit of diamond painting stuff as well. Now I need, where did I just put that? I'm just going to get a needle minder. This was from a lovely friend, Gail, in the comments, made me this and sent it to me for Christmas one year. There we go. I'm crafty. I love it. I'm crafty. I am crafty. All right. So as you can see, this is a deadly little peacock at the moment with all these little bits and pieces in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch the body of the peacock down, because then it's going to hold the tips of this in. So that's sort of, I sort of look at my pieces and work out what I'm going to do, and like where I'm going to go. Same as with the cross stitch and stuff like that. You sort of map out where you're going to go, and whatnot. All right, I'm using CXC thread today as well, for those that are wondering what sort of thread I use. I use CXC because it's I get it cheaper offline. I'm using 2 threads, I hope. Yep, 2 threads. Looks like 2 threads to me. It's a little bit thicker, the CXC thread, but I really like it for this stuff. It doesn't dry out. It doesn't do any of the normal things that happen with a lot of embroidery threads when you're using them all the time. It doesn't fray. I don't have issues with knotting or anything with it either, but I'm not saying that I don't get knots. I just don't have the issues that I've had with other threads before. So yeah. All right, let's get it threaded, and hopefully we have better luck than I had last week with my threads, because this little thread art is fantastic, but sometimes I'm a little bit all thumbs and I can't get it to work until I fiddle with it a bit. So yeah. But anyway, I got it in that time. So yeah, let me just pop that over there so I don't lose that. So basically all you're doing with this pattern, and when you're putting all these down, you're just doing a whip stitch. That's it. That's all you're doing. So yeah. And so you just go around the outside and all that sort of stuff. So basically what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure that these are all in place. I'm going to stitch the body down, and then I'm going to stitch the feathers down, and I'll do the green first, and then I'll just do the layers and everything. And of course, it's going to get sparkled up and all that sort of stuff. Maybe even a bead in the middle of the dark blue. I think that there's French knots in the so you could probably use it just like sparkle thread and do a French knot with it. I think the peacock feathers have a black inner part of the tail, don't they? Yeah, but then it's getting like really small. That she's only got the 3 bits on it, and then she stitches around the outside as well, around the outside of the light blue here as well, from what I can see. Let me just open up the thing and we'll have a look. No, so you can hear my voice is nice and croaky. Yeah, so she you can see here, so there's back stitch around to stitch them down. There's whip stitch around this, then there's back stitch around the outside, like a little bit out from the edge, and then there's the same here. So we've got back stitch that goes around the whole thing, and then there's whip stitch, but she's got a little French knot in it, so I guess you could put a black bead there on that. I don't know whether you'd see it on the light blue, on the royal blue, but yeah, you could definitely, you could beat it up. I'm not going to beat it up. I don't like beating. You can do that, girl. I'll do French knots. Believe me, French knots are quicker for me to do than a bead. I learned that very quickly doing cross stitch. I don't mind beading. I don't mind it. But yeah, am I slow at it? So it's wild. Hello, Marie. How are you? And everyone in the chat. I love what you're doing today. Thank you so much. Grab yourself a cuppa. We're going to hang out for a bit and get some stitching done. So I've been talking already for 25 minutes. So we've done no stitching. So let's get some stitching in. I am going to be moving this piece around. So I do apologize if it makes you a little bit motion sickness. I do apologize for that, but there is no way around it. So yeah, so we're just doing a basic whip stitch. I just started off. I just gone through from the back, and then I just go probably you don't really need to put a lot on. Like you don't need to get too carried away. And I just come up just on the edge of the piece. So hopefully you can see that. I can come down a little bit closer, actually. Let me just come down a little bit. There we go. That's a bit closer, right? see what's going on now. So we're just doing a whip stitch. And as I said, I'm doing the body right now because that's going to anchor down these green feathers and underneath it. And then I'll be able to stitch them down. And as I'm going around, I am catching them underneath as well with this thread. So they'll be secure underneath it. And a little peacock. That is a little cutie. I'll probably put a bead for the eye because look, that looks pretty good. Yeah. Maybe one bead, Gail. That's it. One bead. So let me know if you're working on anything this morning, or you're just enjoying your first cuppa of the morning, or you're getting ready to wind down for the day if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. That do let me know. So cute. I'm going to take that pin out there before I stab myself. That's always a risk. And believe me, I've stuck myself so many times with this, folding it up, pulling it out while I'm stitching. It's almost been a blood sport. Dear me. All right. Let me just pop that down there. And we'll use this pin to hold that down. The next stage is going to be tricky. I'm going to have to change locations to film because the next stage I'm going to have this. I'm thinking about actually putting it into like a Q-snap and or a scroll bar, or maybe, or something like that, and then that way I can just have it in, and then I can just do all the fancy work without having to worry. Sorry, my alarm just went off then. These little pieces drive me mental. I'll put you over there where I can see you with a pin in you, because you're just going to keep falling off on me. So yeah, I didn't want to use glue on this either. Like, you could use glue to glue it down, but I didn't want to do that because it's hard to I did use a little bit of glue on some of these, and when it dries, it is hard to get it all through the stitching through. So I decided that I was going to pin. It was a lot easier to pin. So sorry, it's just hard. I'm right on the beak, and I'm coming up to the head, and I want to make sure that I get everything, because that little piece behind the head has to sit in that spot because it's curved, and I have to make sure that I'm getting it. So I'll just use my needle before I go any further. Get rid of you. Bring that down just a touch. Get rid of you. I don't know if this would be any easier in a hoop to do this part, but I will be doing, as I said, I will be doing a hoop, or maybe I might just lace it up in a frame, and then that way I can just do what I need to do to it without having to fluff around too much with it. But I thought this morning would be a good morning to get some stitches into it. So that's why I am here and bring you along with me. All right. We now have that feather in place. So once you get started, it doesn't take very long to do it. Whip stitch is pretty quick to do. It's one of the quicker ways to tack things down. That pin wants to get me. So when I come to the wings, I actually go through the little tip that's underneath the body, and in that way it's actually adhering down. On the other piece I'm working on, I've actually started cutting out the houses and whatnot for that. So I haven't done too many. I think I've done 3, maybe 4 at this stage. So I'm cutting out all the bits for it. And then I want to have all the bits on each house assembled. I actually put it down on the piece. So yeah. Good morning, Miss Jenny. How are you today? What's going on? Just seeing you sneak in there. Working on a felt project myself. 12 Days of Christmas, French hen. Nice, nice. They're so cute. On my community tab, there is a Christmas book, new Christmas book that's come out by Fox Chapel that I just recently reviewed. It is cuteness overload. It's not wool felt, but it's got some appliqué and it's got some quilts and all that sort of stuff. I have left a link in that description. You can see it on the community tab of the channel. Give a copy of it, but so many beautiful projects in it. So yeah, there's little ornaments. I think there was 6 ornaments in it. There was a table runner, there was quilt, there was a bed runner. For those that don't want to make a quilt, there was so much stuff in there. There was what else was in there? There was a full-size quilt in 3 different sizes. There was a table runner in the different sizes for your beds. There was a bed runner, not table runner, sorry. There was a table runner. There was a couple of cushions in there. There was some ornaments. All the templates are supplied. There's QR codes throughout it with extra information if you're a beginner, whatnot. There's extra information in there for you. So rather than clog the book up with lots and lots of technical stuff, they've put the QR codes in, and you just basically hover your phone over the QR code and it'll take you to the all the information you need. So there's stuff about fusibles and, you know, all different sorts of things, different techniques, and how to make bows and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's not super expensive. It's 80 pages all up, and it's not super expensive off the top of my head. I think it's like $17, something along those lines. There it is. Super cute, super cute. I've started digging out the fabrics. I'm thinking I'm going to make maybe just one ornament out of the book, but yeah, so I might do that as a slow stitching Saturday. I might hand applique it rather than use a machine, but it's all like for machine that. And if you're a beginner too, there's a lot of information in there about different techniques and stuff for applique, so you don't have to worry that it's a bit beyond your capabilities. There's lots of instructions in it. I like Fox Chapel stuff. Always have done. I've got a number of their books on my shelf, but I've just recently started and whatnot that they've got coming out. I just recently reviewed a knitting book as well, which I haven't got the link there for. I'm going to put that up later today. And I'm in the process of reviewing one that's a bilingual one as well. So keep an eye on the community tab and all that sort of stuff for what's going on with the craft books that and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to check my video because I just looked over and noticed that my my screen is blinking, so I just want to make sure that you are seeing everything okay. Let me know if it's frozen or anything like that for you in the comments, because yeah, StreamYards is doing something. I'm using StreamYards working and going blank, so I'm wondering, is my internet a bit hinky? Let me take that off the Wi-Fi. on that. So yeah, hopefully it's not blinking too much. Let me go to my channel. Sorry, I just want to double check, make sure that it's working for you okay. I'm getting a good view of it. It's a bit yellowish, but that's because of the neighbours. Seems to be all right. All right, okay. I was just a bit worried there for a moment, but it looks to be okay. All right. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to trust the process, right? All right. It's actually got really cloudy all of a sudden. I did just get a notification it's going to rain, so that's probably why. That would explain it, right? Makes a lot of sense. All right. And again, I've just loaded up the green, and I'm going to whip stitch that as well. So basically, I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm just going to go around. Then I'll jump over to the next one, go around, and so forth and so on until I get around to this side. So yeah. And again, it's just whip stitch that we're doing. Savannah arrived last night. So yeah, that was good. She came in about 5:30 this afternoon. Booktube last night, and yeah, we were just having a bit of fun over there. And then she cooked me dinner, and I've got enough for breakfast, which I'll have when I finished here. So yeah, going to endeavour to get all of this finished at some stage today. I probably won't spend the whole time with you. I just like to come in, do a little bit of it is actually helping me to do this. So this is just staying in the diamond painting room at the moment, because right now the only thing I'm working on is this and diamond painting. So yeah. But I also put up a video the other day of an unboxing. So I'm going to start that as well, because I can leave that set up and I can just do a little bit here and there and just, yeah. So don't hook up on all of that. All these little components on these, like for such a little motif, it's got a lot of little bits and pieces in it, and it's just going to sort of come once the stitching starts going on it. It's so going to just come alive. It's going to look absolutely fantastic. So my plans for the rest of today is I have some spreads with channel members over on BookTube. So I have that, and then I've got that for a few hours, and then this during that time I'm also going to be doing finishing off a quilt that's in the long arm machine. Well, that was handy. The magnet just caught on the steel part of the of the table and took my piece with it. Over there now. So I'm going to finish off doing the quilt. I've got 2 rows left of a quilt in the machine. I was supposed to get up early this morning and get that done, and I didn't get it done. So I'm going to do that first up, and then I've got to load another quilt into the machine, and I've got to cut some cross-stitch fabric to get ready for dyeing. So yeah. So I've got to get all of that ready. I'm doing the dyeing on Tuesday, not Monday. Yeah, I've got some editing to do. I have some crafty videos that I've got to put up as well. So I've got to edit those. I feel like I'm just attached to the computer. But it's all right. All right, let's have a sip of coffee, hey? Love is my favorite drink. So I've got a pretty busy day, and then I have public sprints at 6 o'clock tonight for a few hours. There's a big readathon happening over on across 20 channels on BookTube at the moment that I created. I sort of created a monster where we sprint for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the entire month of November. And yeah, it's across 20 channels. So it's a big collaboration. Me and my best me Coda and Vanessa from Read with Dr. B. What are you doing? Caught around something. Organize all of that. Vanessa is our Discord manager and host as well. And yeah, lots of amazing people helping out with that. And I just recently on the craft channel clicked over 40,000 subscribers. So that was exciting when I opened up the page and went, oh my God, when did that happen? It actually happened probably 2 minutes before I opened it because I was at, I clicked over. I must have just instinctively knew that I was getting close to a milestone and I clicked over. So yeah, and now I just don't worry about it because, but in the last, because that was 2 weeks ago, I think I mentioned it 2 weeks ago that it happened. And yeah, I've got another couple of hundred subscribers. So thank you, everybody that's new that might see this a bit later on the replay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all clicking that subscribe button and hanging out. So basically what's going to happen right now is I'm going to keep stitching. I'm going to get to a certain point, and then I've got to finish up here and then quickly click another tab and go and do another live stream for BookTube. So, yeah. Hopping all over the place today. Big day. So the good thing is that, you know, like I'm just doing what I like to do. So bit of reading. The book I'm reading today is it's a World War II small town saga, not saga, book. Anyway, obviously it's a book because I'm reading it. So yeah, it's set in World War II. It's in an area of England. I love reading these books. They're just really cute. Well, they're not cute, but I love the way that the women are portrayed. Like they talk about the jobs that they did when the men were away and stuff like that. And, you know, they're very strong women and all the rest of it. This one's actually been quite surprising because some of it has talked about the boys that are like the men and boys that are in uniform and how there was one scene that played out. So we've got 3 female characters. One is a land girl, one is in the army and is like a radio operator, and another one is a nurse. They come from all different walks of life, different parts of the country, and they've all met up. I think it's Somerset where they're at, if memory serves, and they've all met up. They've slowly met up. So the nurse met one of Rosie, who's the land girl. It started out with her on a farm and talking about the farmer abusing his wife, and she come from a loving home and all this sort of stuff. So, and they weren't feeding her and all that sort of stuff. So it's sort of showing the dark and seedy side of the land girls, like how some of them were treated poorly. So yeah, I'm finding that very interesting because I've not read that before, where like they usually have stuff going on and all the rest of it. But for those that don't know anything about World War II and Britain, in that era, when the men went away to war, they had to fill the jobs that the men left behind. So women filled those roles, and land girls went out, like country city girls went out to the country, one, to get them out of London, and two, to help on the land. So they did a lot of different jobs and whatnot. And they had supervisors that looked after them from I'm assuming it was the war department, that made sure that they were okay. And so this book opened up with this girl, Rosie, at a farm. She'd been there for quite some time, and the farmer was quite abusive. And she had been there, and she was saying that her supervisor hadn't come to see her or anything like that, and she didn't know like how she was supposed to be looking after her if she doesn't come and see her, and all that sort of stuff. And so when when it first happened, she confronted, not confronted, but spoke to the wife, and the wife just said, leave it. So over time, basically, this guy was abusing the wife and essentially abusing his family. They would sit down for a meal, and he would just like gorge himself, and there'd be hardly any left for the rest of the family and her. And then she could see what was happening, so she started not eating as much. Like, she'd only have really small portions and whatnot. But anyway, and he was really cruel and all that to the animals and whatnot. And she was fixing a dog one day, and he kicked it and it bit her. And she went up to the house to clean it up, and the supervisor was there. And apparently the supervisor had come, and they'd always said that she was on leave, or she went into town, or she wasn't there, and because there's no phone and all this sort of stuff. So fully isolated. And it sort of got me thinking, I'm like, wow, I wonder how many people like were in a situation like that left the city and were abused or whatever the case may be. So it sort of got me thinking, and I'm like, that's so bad when, it's always portrayed that everybody banded together and all this sort of stuff. So I was quite surprised. The author is May Ellis. The publisher is Boldwood Books. I review books for them over on BookTube. And yeah, it's a great little book. I'm actually really enjoying it because it's a little bit different. Like, I've read I love reading these books because, the women, as I said, the women are always, doing jobs that are male dominated, and then they excel and all that sort of stuff. It's very positive in that aspect and that. But this is the first time I've read one where it's sketchy like this, like it's like, oh, that was hectic. But there's also the talk of the boys in uniform letting the power go to their head. Like, so there was a assault that happened on the nurse. She was walking home, and they were looking for, they said that there was a pilot that had been shot down, and they were looking for the pilot in this little town, and he used that as an excuse to assault her. Grabbed her on the chest and, pulled her hair to make sure she wasn't wearing a wig and all that, like, used all these excuses. And then she punched him one. And there's a character in it, gave him a blood nose. And there's a character in it, which is her godfather. And there's been a lot of girls born into their family. Taken himself to teach all the girls how to defend themselves. So, and he happened to rock up and, well, Daisy, it looks like you've done a good job here. And then he took them, and they got, I don't know if they were charged, but they were reprimanded, was the word I'm looking for. So, fined and, confined to barracks and all the rest of it. And so there was a whole dialogue about, men thinking that they can, like, even at the dance where men were being quite forward and all that sort of stuff, using the excuse that they, going to war, need the love of a good woman and all this sort of stuff. And it's the first time that it's really been approached in that I've read, out of the books that I've read, that I've seen it approached this way, where they're actually talking about it. And they're talking about it from the women's point of view, not, some male character talking about it. There's even, the male characters are very protective as well, like, and want the women to succeed. Like, there's the girl that's in the army. She was under one guy and didn't believe that, obviously he didn't think that she was capable of doing anything, and didn't send her for the training that she was supposed to go for because she's a radio operator. And so yeah, so it was it's quite interesting because now she's got a new boss, and he's like, you should have went weeks ago, and he's very pro women and all that sort of stuff. So it's actually a little bit different than the ones that I normally read. Normally it's centered around the ones that I've read so far. So Ellie Curzon is probably one of my favorite for this sort of era writing. They're usually around 300 pages, the books. You can find them on Kindle Unlimited if you've got Kindle Unlimited. There's a lot of access to them. I don't see them very often in libraries or anything, but definitely on Kindle Unlimited. Ellie Curzon is two authors. I can't think of the authors' names, but they pen together. And I don't normally like reading two authors when they write a book, but yeah, they write really well. So I recommend them. They have the series. I can't think of the name of the series, but it's a surrounding orphans as well. They've got that, and they've got a few other ones as well. I can't think off the top of my head, but I pretty much read anything that they put out. And then this one is Ellis May, I think, is the author one, and again, really well written. I don't know if it's two authors or not, but really well written. And as I said, it's approaching it for the little bit of a darker side of war. And so there's this whole dialogue about, boys thinking that they can just do whatever they want because they've got a uniform on and all that sort of stuff and whatnot. There's also, the silly little side of things where like there's a boy that likes Rosie, and Rose, I think Rosie likes him, but she hasn't let on yet and all that sort of stuff. But she sort of sees him as a brother, not really as someone, but she's come into her own. Like this was the girl that was at the abusive family. She's been moved to another family, and, they treat her really well on that. But how she met Daisy was funny. She was milking the cows, and she touched one of the cows that must have had mastitis, and it basically kicked out at her and knocked her off her stool, and then all the rest of the cows were sort of came around her and whatnot, and she ended up breaking an ankle because one of them stood on her. But yeah, it's very fun. The little quirky things that the male character is doing around her is so funny, like teasing like a brother does and all that sort of stuff. And it's just, it's a little bit of the lightheartedness as well with some of these heavy topics, which is, as I said, very interesting. I have read a lot of books this month. So if you want to see any of my book reviews, you can follow me on any craft book. I would definitely post them on the community tab here, so you can check them out on that, or in our Facebook group as well. I put them in there as well. And of course there is affiliate links on that, so if you do purchase it, I get a little commission, and I think it's 4.5% of the total sale. So if you do a little bit of extra shopping, I might even get a little bit of kickback from that as well, because it follows the cookies. And that will help to, oh gosh, I've got myself in a pickle around that. That will help to support the channel, and that would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun reading these little books. What was the other one I read the other day? Oh, the one I read the other day in World War II as well was the Stolen Children of War, and that was centered around the circus. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm like, I don't think I've ever read anything where the circus was involved in the underground. I mean, this is historical fiction, but it was like a different take. Like, I'm not saying that that's actually what happened, but yeah, it was just a different take. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I know, I've just found that they're like little palate cleansers for me. You know exactly what you're getting. You know that there's going to be either a romance in it, or there's going to be a little bit of thrilling elements in it with a little bit of romance. There's the element of danger of the bombings and all that sort of stuff. And you know exactly what you get. Having those on, a lot of time I get them on audio, but if I don't, I'll just run them through Speechify and have the AI read it to me while I'm working. Speechify's got amazing voices on it. Like they're not, that they're not real, but they sound a little bit more human-like. So yeah, there's some really good ones on there. And so I just find a really good, usually a British, and put that on and just work away. And then after a while, you don't really notice that. Like there'll be a couple of things that it'll trip up on, but for the most part, you don't really notice because you get so absorbed in the story. And then I'll just sit there and do some diamond painting and all that sort of stuff as well. That, which I'm actually going to do a little bit of, because I've got such a long day today. I think I'll do a little bit of that a bit later, and then that way I can, as I said, finish the quilt. Once I get that quilt finished, then I can load the other one and start on it. It's actually got quite a large pattern, so it's not going to take as long as the one I'm doing now. It's still going to take me a while, but not as long, thankfully. Yeah, so I want to get that done today, and then I'll probably I might actually just leave myself set up in here and do my sprints for in here. And then that way I can do some diamond painting tonight. So if you want to, I might even just put the camera over the top of my diamond painting. That'd be pretty cool. I've got a lot. It's sort of on theme because it's the one you gave me, Gail. The cat one. I'm still working on that. But I did want to start a Christmas one in December. So I'm thinking you gave me a Christmas one too. So I'm that. I've got some Christmas I can do. But I think I might have a look at the one that you gave me when I was down last. And because there's a Santa one there, I think. So yeah, I might pull that out and give that a go. And I was thinking, because I don't I can roll them up and put them back in their thing. That if I don't get it all done, so that's what I'm going to do. And I've got a heap of I've got a couple of more drawage things, so I'll be able to just set it up, put the sticker on it, and then I'll know that that's it, what it is, and then I can get stuck into it. But I can't remember whether it's square or whether it's round, so I'll have to have a look at that. So I was thinking I'm going to in December, and because I don't actually have a Christmas on anything, I don't think. I've got cross stitch stuff. Love a bit of Gail saying love a bit of Christmas diamond painting. As do I. I usually do something small. I've still got the Admiral Zest one. I've got to do that. I've got to finish that off. It's just sitting over there on the shelf. I've seen that then from that advent that I got a couple of years ago. I should probably just bust that out and do that today and get it finished. That's just a little piece. Excuse me. All right. So you can see on the back, it's just, focus. Doesn't want to focus. There we go. What are you doing? There we go. So on the back, let me just move a bit slower so it doesn't have a connection. This looks like running stitch. It gets a bit messy on the back, but I don't really get too hung up on that. I'm not a perfectionist in that aspect because no one is going to see it. And if they're pulling your stuff apart and picking on your stuff, tell them to bugger off. So yeah. Anyway, this is my opinion. All right, we've got one more to do, and then I'll sign off for the day on that. So let me just grab some more thread. And once I've got this done, yeah, we'll be at the point of doing all the embroidery, all the fancy work. So how exciting is that? I'm nervous, but excited at the same time. It's been a hot minute since I've done any embroidery. So I guess we'll see how antiquated I actually am. So, what's the date today? We have, oh my goodness, 7 weeks until I'm in the UK. Oh my goodness, that is approaching fast. Wow. I think Leanne, Gail, and Jenny, Leanne leaves next week, doesn't she, on Thursday or Friday? Or is it the 28th she leaves? Which would be, yeah, that's next Friday, isn't it? Yeah, 6 days. Wow. She's going to have a blast. I looked at the weather the other day and I'm like, whoa, Leanne, I hope you're prepared. Because I'm not. It's so funny. Like, Leanne gets back and then I leave a week later. So yeah. And then Savannah was supposed to bring up the map so we could start plotting out where we're going to go. Did Savannah bring the map? Savannah did not bring the map. She goes, I forgot the map. She goes, I sat it near my phone so I wouldn't forget. And I'm like, and she goes, I don't know why I didn't like because I do that. I always forget. God, Savannah. So yeah, anyway, we don't have our map, but that's okay. So next month I've got a huge month with content creation and all that sort of stuff. And then I on the 14th is the AC/DC concert in Brisbane. And Savannah got tickets for Brendan and us to go with Brendan. Ideally we would have preferred it. We knew that, we just didn't know exactly when they were coming. And ideally we would have wanted it for next year for his 50th. So yeah, but he got it this year for his 49th. So next year he'll get nothing except maybe some socks and chocolate. So yeah, but we're very excited about it. We're staying down there for 3 days. Brendan's taking 3 days off. And yeah, we're staying down there. We found this really nice apartment to stay in. So that's exciting. So we can just cruise, and I'll pick up my passport as well when I'm down there. So needless to say, I'm going to have to say this, Savannah, you're going to have to go for a drive and go and get your bloody map on that. So I might just scoot down with her on Thursday or something, whenever she's, because I would have liked to have had our sort of, like, I don't care that we don't know exactly where we're going, but I'd like to know the route that we're going. So, which direction we're heading. I know we're going to Paris. We're going to Paris for 3 days. So that's good. And I snuck it in. So yeah. And I know we're going to be spending a week in Edinburgh, and we're going to be spending some time in Oxford, and we've got a few days in London on both sides of flying in and flying out. So when we fly in, we're going to spend a couple of days in London, and then we'll move on. And then when we fly out, we'll stay at the same hotel and basically we will do the rest of the touristy stuff that we want to do. So I keep sending her these reels. I want to go here, I want to go there, and all the rest of it. And it's so funny because she's like, "It'll be too far." I'm like, "We're not in Kansas anymore, sweetie. Everything's really close." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So yeah. So now all I'm saving up for is I've got accommodation money. I've paid for my airfare. So now I've got food and spending money, which I don't need a lot of spending money because, I don't plan on buying a lot over there because there's no need for me to buy stuff. No, that's this one. Like there might be some books or whatever, but, signed copies and stuff because Waterstones has signed copies of things. And if I can get a signed copy of which is the R.F. Kuang book that came out just recently, I will be all over that because all of the other books I have, R.F. Kuang's actually one of my favourite authors. R.F. Kuang's books that are on my shelf are all signed because she came to Australia and I got signed copies of everything. So, yeah, and whatnot. But the Peacock main part is sewn down. So I have been yapping on for a little over an hour. So I am going to bid you farewell. I will be back again. I won't say next week because I don't know what time because it's the closeout of the readathon, but you never know. I might be back next week if I've got time, depending what time I start. I might pop. If I start I think I start at 9 o'clock. So if I start at 9 o'clock, I will pop in at the same time, nice and early. We can hang out, have a cuppa. So, and I'll probably get some more stitches into this. But I am going to try and figure out a frame to put this in. And I'm probably going to have to change locations because if I do have it in a large frame, I'm going to have to change locations because I won't be able to do it up on here. But there we go. Here, the body is sewn down. His green bits are sewn down. Now I've just got these little bits to sew down. And I'm thinking that I might just pull them off and sew, like, put the little dot in, like the little French knot in the feathers, and then that way they'll stay together. What do you reckon? I reckon that'll work. So yeah. But that is the stitching for today. As I said, I'm going to bid you farewell. Yeah, it is the 20th. I thought it was the 28th. I'm going to bid you farewell. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. As I said, I wasn't going to keep you too long today. I'm about to scoot off and start another live stream. Nothing like overbooking yourself, right? So yeah, but he's all done. Just got to do these little feathers and then we'll be on to embroidery. So I think what I might do is I think I can do fly stitch in my hand. So I might just do all the leaves. And when it comes time to doing long stitch and that, I might be able to do it. It's just when I've got to do French knots that's going to be the issue. Because some of these flowers have, like this one here, you can see it's got French knots all the way around. So it's definitely going to have to go into a hoop for that, right? So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to work it. I'm going to have to ponder it because even these guys, the birds have got like French knots for the eyes and all that sort of stuff. But I can definitely do like fly stitch in hand. I mean, you're not going to see it very well, but when I'm bunching it up, maybe. You can sort of see if I do it in a certain way. I don't know. I'll have a think about it and see what I can do. If you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. And if you're watching on the replay, hi, thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. And, yeah, so thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to go and check out that quilting book in the community post. It's a lovely book. It's got 80 pages of quilty Christmas goodness. And as I said, I get a little bit of a kickback from that as well. And I have actually reviewed that. So I've gone through the whole book and everything. Everything is wonderfully laid out and whatnot. But for now, I'm going to bid you farewell. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.